Hi, I'm Tim Whitmire with First Integrity Mortgage, and joining me today is Angi Laskowski with Remax Results.
Hi, Tim. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm excited you're here today. I've known Angi for a good amount of time. We've actually worked together for a long time, I think 18 years now. And I have respected the way she does business. I've actually personally had her help me buy my last house. She found me a great house. So I love Angi, and I'm excited to introduce you to her to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So Angi, you've been doing this for a while, but what got you into real estate?
I think what actually got me into real estate was when I was expecting Grace, my first child, and I thought that it would be a great way to be a stay-at-home mom. And I realized very quickly that that might not be the case. And but I'm still so thankful for how that all worked out because it took a little while to figure out the work-life balance, but we got it all figured out.
Nice, nice. It's funny that you say that because you're so active and you do so many things, and I'm sure you put in a good amount of hours doing everything.
I do, yes. But they always just came along with me. They went on a lot of showings when they were younger, not so much anymore. But there's a whole lot of them helping me out while I was working and me working while I was watching some t-ball games too. So
Now that's what's great about both of our professions. There is flexibility, like absolutely, and I enjoy the same flexibility, but we also certainly put the hours in as well.
you do. And there's a whole lot of once they get to bed, then you kind of finish up on some of the loose ends for the day. And I get up a little bit earlier than them and we just get everything rocking and rolling. But it's I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's awesome. I love it as well. So, and you're in Illinois and Missouri,
I am.
so that's unique. How did that come about?
Well, I live in Columbia and I grew up in Columbia, and so it's right there on the river. So everything we did as kids was, my mom went grocery shopping in South County, and we went to the mall in South County and West County and those types of things. And so as an adult now, it's the same thing. I'm over in the Missouri side of the river, probably almost as much as I am on the Illinois side, just with activities and errands and things like that. And so I know those markets really well as areas really well. So when our Illinois board and our Missouri board, our MLS combined, I was like, this makes perfect sense. Before that, I had always thought about getting the Missouri license, but I would need the Missouri MLS and the Illinois MLS, and it just seemed like a lot to manage. So literally the minute that email came out that we were joining Maris, I let my managing broker know at the time that I would be getting my Missouri license as well.
That's awesome. It's just too convenient.
Yes, it is. It really is. And especially if you know the areas really well. Sometimes it can get a little daunting if we get too far out into St. Charles County trying to get back to, like one day I had something out in St. Charles County and then I had the next one was in Randolph County in Illinois. And so that was a long drive, but it gives you lots of time to get caught up on stuff in between.
There we go. Yeah. And like personally, I've lived in Missouri. Now I live in Columbia, Illinois myself. And I used to have an office in Illinois. And now my office is in Missouri. So I've kind of flip-flopped that. I've been back and forth. But when you live in Illinois, you spend an awful lot of time in Missouri. I totally get it.
Especially if you live, I think Columbia especially. As I get out into different markets in Illinois, they're always like, you do that in Missouri? And I'm like, yes, it's really not that far from us. To get here was 20 minutes, 22 minutes, I think it was. So it seems like it's so far away, but it really isn't unless there's traffic.
Yeah. Well, sure. Have to watch out for 270 traffic.
This bridge, I'm so worried about the bridge.
And I always joke, it's a river, it's not an ocean, so it's not that far away.
Right?
And
yes,
we're able to cross it every single day.
And we don't pack a bag or anything like that. It's all good.
That's awesome. So you're with Remax.
Yes.
What do you do the Remax?
Well, I've been a fan of Remax long before I actually went to Remax. I just love the way they run the company. I love the professionalism of them. Remax really historically is focused on agents with a lot of experience and they don't need a lot of hand holding. It's very independent. And I am extremely independent. I just like to go and do my own thing and get it done. And so just have always been very appreciative of how they've ran their business. So when the opportunity came that they were going to have Remax Results was going to have an office in both Illinois and Missouri, it just
That's
made perfect sense.
Yep, that's awesome. So something I think that's really cool that you do are your events.
Yes, I
So
love doing client events. Those are my favorite. It's just a great way to give back to the people that trusted you and also to stay in touch. Like we spend so much time together and a lot of times it's a very emotional process, whether it's selling or buying. And so you get attached and sometimes at closing, it's like, I'm going to lose a friend now. And so it seems like such a weird thing to say if you're not in that industry to understand it. But the client events are a great way for me to watch their kids get a little bit bigger. And, you know, I love year after year watching how it all changes for them and just being a part of what's going on in their lives still. And again, it's all about the gratitude.
yeah, and you do a good job with it.
Thank
They're
you.
fun.
Yeah.
They're
a lot of work.
I know you work very hard with it, and
Yes.
but it's I think it's a great idea,
Yes.
and it's a cool thing that you do.
Yeah. It's, I consider it my marketing. About 97% of my business is repeat and referrals. So it just makes sense for me to focus on that.
That says so much about how you do business. 97%
Mm-hmm.
of your business is referrals and repeat business.
Yes.
You don't get referrals and repeat business unless you really do an excellent job and you're really trusted by the person giving you that referral or working with you again with a
Yes.
repeat.
Yes. And so, and referrals come from, my colleagues in other parts of our, of the industry. So,
Sure.
it's not just treating the clients well, but it's hopefully treating the lenders and the title companies and other agents who don't work across the river. I get a lot of referrals from that way too.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're trying to do business the right way.
Yes.
You're treating everyone with respect. You're trying to help.
Yes.
And when you have that approach, it's people appreciate it and they want to work with you. So.
Yep. And it's just nice to know that a lot of times I come in being considered an expert. Whereas when you get the completely cold lead off of Zillow, you have to establish that.
Right.
And sometimes I'm not very patient in that because I'm like, I've been doing this for over 18 years. I know what I'm doing. Just come along. And so it's just an easier way for me to be able to just get into the groove and go.
Yep. And I can vouch for your knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And a pretty cool story. Like you helped my wife.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't my wife at the time.
No.
But I met my wife through doing a mortgage for her, and so then at a certain point she needed to sell her home so we could buy a home together, and it couldn't have gone more perfectly. When we sold our house with Angi, the strategies that you put in place with the open house and how we went about doing that, and it just the way it played out was just perfect. And we were able to get more for the home than we anticipated receiving. And the whole timing between the transition from one house to the other and finding our next house that we bought together, that whole process and the knowledge that you had about the area really showed. And I mean, what you do works.
Yep. I take a lot of time to study the market and keep ahead of what's going on. So I watch the coast a lot, whatever was happening out in, the California, Florida, East Coast, we start to see here. And so sometimes
Sure.
their strategies don't work exactly because we are a little different in the Midwest, but I try to take them and tweak them and make them work for us here. And if you can stay ahead of it and do that before the market kind of shifts, then it just works better. And so I always want to be the trendsetter with that kind of stuff. I like to keep them a little quiet, though, so they're my strategies. But I do like to kind of be the trendsetter. Because a lot of sellers will sit down and meet with 3 or 4 agents. I want them to see a strategy that looks different than the other 3. And so that's always been super important for me.
Yeah, it's you're out in front of it. You have a unique approach that's appropriate for the market that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much yesterday's approach.
Yes.
It's what's going to work right now, today, for the market that we're in. And I've seen it. It works.
Boy, does it change faster and faster. Every year I'm in the business, it seems like.
I love that though, and I like that approach instead of doing the same old thing over and over and over again. Maybe
Yes.
it was the best approach 10 years ago, may not be the best approach now.
Yeah, I think I used to drive some of my team leaders when I was a buyer's agent a little crazy because I'd always people like, why do we do that? And they're like, because it's always been done. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why do we have to do an open house from Sunday 1 to 3? Like, why? I mean, and so we started Friday night open houses, which have been stellar. And so
That's what worked. Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
what
my desire to be a child and a toddler and but why? But why? So.
Nice. So, if someone wants to get in contact with you, what is the best way for someone to reach you?
The best way would be either call or text, and that my number is 618-550-9060. That's always the fastest way. That phone is, other than when I'm filming, always with me. So
Awesome, awesome. And if you would like a warm introduction to Angi, I'm happy to do that for you as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you
Yes,
for
thank you.
joining me today. And so please like, comment, share the video. And again, if you would like a warm introduction, reach out. I'll be happy to make that for you. And yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Tim. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot less scary than I anticipated.
Awesome.